हस्तियां है मेरे साथ और मुझे यहाँ बेंगलोर से सबसे पहले दिल्ली जाना है। दिल्ली से फ्लाइट लेना है देहरादून से हम लोग हरिद्वार जाएंगे, विसर्जन करना है कल, बट इन्होंने सडनली फ्लाइट कैंसिल कर दिया। हमारे पास प्रायर नोटिफिकेशन कुछ भी नहीं भेजा है।
Our sincerest apologies.
My husband passed away and I have come here to transport the coffin, the casket all the way to Kolkata to be buried. We booked an IndiGo flight. This is at 7:10. And till now, we have no information whether the flight is going to take off or not. Who's going to take responsibility for it?
Our sincerest apologies. Our sincerest apologies.
इंडिगो वाले हमारा जो लगेज था, मैं बॉम्बे की हूँ, मेरी कल दिल्ली की फ्लाइट थी, ये लगेज नहीं देने के लिए रेडी नहीं, इनको कुछ पता ही नहीं हमारा लगेज कहाँ पर है।
Our sincerest apologies.
टिकट कैंसिल किया, आप रहने को दो, खाने को दो, सोने को दो, और मुझे कोई भी हालत में आज रात की फ्लाइट चाहिए, क्योंकि मेरी लड़की बीमार है। अगर कुछ भी हो गया ना तो मैं छोड़ूंगी नहीं किसी को।
Our sincerest apologies.
पूरा लगेज मिसमैच हो चुका है। ऑलमोस्ट हम यहाँ पर तकरीबन 10 से 12 घंटे से ना पानी मिला है, ना खाने को मिला है।
Staff, they are not cooperating well. They are not giving a very clear answer. They are just saying that whatever information we have, we are providing to you. And those staff are also not very much experienced. Main guys, they are hidden somewhere. They are at home. They are not picking up the phone. So many problems.
You're watching the Newshour at 9 and I am Swati Joshi. It's not been a good day, a good evening, good anything for thousands who've been impacted because of this mess created by IndiGo. Something inexplicable has unfolded today. A government that stared down the United States. A government that didn't blink before European Union. A government that refused to be arm twisted into compromising India's interests while engaging with Russia has today capitulated before a private airline. Yes, under this government's watch, private carrier IndiGo has managed to engineer one of the worst meltdowns India's aviation sector has seen in years. More than 1,000 cancellations in a single day, which is more than half of its scheduled flights, leaving thousands of passengers harrowed, helpless, hapless and clueless. They missed weddings and funerals, were left pretty much to fend for themselves. No clarity, no communication, no consolation, not even food, water or a place to sit. Many were stranded midway, hundreds of kilometers away from their homes and destinations. And as IndiGo management watched this crisis unravel, other airlines swooped in to take advantage. Price of a 2-hour flight crossed 40,000 rupees. The usually 3-hour Pune-Mumbai road journey became costlier than many international routes by air, with last-minute tickets shooting up to 61,000 rupees. And at the end of the day, in fact, 4 days of unending torture for the passengers, they got an apology. Yes, an apology from the CEO of IndiGo. What did he say about things getting better? A grand promise of, wait for it, less than 1,000 cancellations from tomorrow. So if you thought it will all magically disappear tomorrow, that's not happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Peter Elbers, the CEO of IndiGo. I want to share with you that we have experienced severe operational disruptions for the past few days. I, on behalf of all of us at IndiGo, would like to extend our sincerest apologies for the major inconvenience this has caused to many of our customers on account of delays or cancellations. Imperative for progressive improvements starting as from tomorrow. With these actions, we expect tomorrow to have cancellations below 1,000. It will take some time to return to a full normal situation, which we do anticipate between the 10th and the 15th of December.
And he is just one of the people responsible for the mass mayhem. It took Peter Elbers 4 days, over 96 hours and more than 1,500 flight cancellations to finally speak up, and even then he calls them operational disruptions. No, sir. The issues were not operational. They were artificially created by IndiGo. The airline had 2 years to meet global standards, to stick to the new flight duty norms that ensured that pilots and crew were properly rested when they fly aircraft with thousands of passengers. Instead of provisioning for that, IndiGo orchestrated the chaos and seems to have successfully managed to attain its goal, to blackmail the government into a back. The order that said that no leave shall be substituted for weekly rest stands withdrawn. DGCA has amended flight duty norms, which now means that weekly rest period and leaves will no more be treated separately. Why shouldn't it be called an attempt to murder? Can you imagine the kind of risk it poses to the pilots, the aircraft and the passengers? An exhausted crew being asked to fly is as serious a safety risk as it gets. And to make things worse, instead of pulling up the airline for what looks like a deliberate failure, a deliberate attempt to arm twist the government, DGCA and Centre are appealing to all the pilot associations to extend full cooperation and not create hindrance. And what about the Civil Aviation Minister? After surrendering to IndiGo's blackmail and punishing the pilots, he says things are getting better, isn't it?
Today we are seeing that the situation is getting better. From tomorrow we are expecting normalcy to start, in the sense there won't be any congestion or there won't be any waiting at the airports. At least for the last 6 months, we have initiated a process of continuously engaging with the airlines. We are calling the airlines, we are meeting them, and we are discussing all the issues that need to be faced. And through the last 1 month also, we have been observing, we are taking strict action on this, so that whoever was responsible into this needs to pay for it.
Responsible? Well, IndiGo is responsible for it. Will you make IndiGo pay for it? The Civil Aviation Minister says that there'll be no congestion from tomorrow. The situation, in fact, got better from today. Well, go and ask the passengers who've had to deal with the cancellations, with the delays, waiting for hours altogether with no clarity absolutely whatsoever from the ground staff of the airline that everyone seems to be shielding. In case you were wondering, how does IndiGo have the audacity to be so brazen? Here is the reason. This one airline has 66% share in Indian aviation market, a number that perhaps allows them to put profits above everything else. The opposition is highlighting this unfair advantage.
संसदीय कार्यमंत्री जी ने कहा है कि निश्चित रूप से उन्होंने नगर विमानन मंत्री से कहा है कि इस पर पूरी तैयारी करके आएं और सदन को अवगत कराएं। सरकार की मोनोपोली की जो पॉलिसी, एक ही को सब सौंप देना, दो को सब सौंप देना देश, उसी का दुष्परिणाम।
इंडिगो तो लूटता है, सीट लो तो लूटेगा, खाना मांगो तो लूटेगा, पानी मांगो तो लूटेगा, तो लूटने वाली एयरलाइंस है इंडिगो।
कॉलिंग अटेंशन डाला है। मैं उम्मीद कर रही थी कि कल के कल ही सिविल एविएशन मिनिस्टर जानकारी देते, सदन के पटल पे आकर जनता को बताते कि क्या डीजीसीए ने कार्रवाई की है, क्या इंडिगो एयरलाइन से कमिटमेंट आया है, और वो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण नहीं हुआ।
रीजन ये है कि अभी इंडिगो को जो नए नॉर्म्स हैं उनके मुताबिक रिक्रूटमेंट करनी है, उनके पास उतना स्टाफ नहीं है, जिसके कारण से फ्लाइट्स कैंसिल हो रही हैं। कुछ रिक्रूटमेंट्स है कि पायलट्स को 2 दिन की लगातार रेस्ट मिलना चाहिए, तो वो नहीं मिल रहा था। कुछ ये है कि जितने अटेंडेंट्स होते हैं उनको आप बहुत सारी फ्लाइट्स पे नहीं यूज कर सकते।
So you heard the BJP MP there. New rules are for passenger safety, but sadly, viewers, these safety rules have been withdrawn. That brings me to the legitimate question that we are asking tonight. Is the message to the passengers then, in that case, by the authorities, by the government, is fly at your own risk? Because that one rule that perhaps ensured less fatigue for the pilots, for the staff, has been put in abeyance by the DGCA.
On Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let me quickly introduce the guests. We have Deepak Reddy, National Spokesperson of the TDP. We have Vayan Sharma, CEO of Chimes Aviation, joining us. Captain Anil Rao, General Secretary of the APA, also on the broadcast. Jitendra Bhargava, former ED Air India, would be joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, also on the broadcast. Part of the panel also is Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow IPCS, and joining him in the studio is Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. Before I go across to our guests and before we open this up, I just want to quickly highlight one thing. So it looks like the authority, DGCA, the ministers, they are just at the moment before anybody, the committee inquiry arrives at a conclusion, are parroting lines of the IndiGo. This is what DGCA says in its circular or the document that it issued. Airline has acknowledged that it has failed to anticipate the actual crew requirement. So DGCA very conveniently mentioning it here, and not just DGCA. The Civil Aviation Minister also seems to have already arrived at the conclusion, because he says this was a miscalculation on part of the IndiGo Airlines. Listen in to believe it.
On the airlines part, we have observed this miscalculation from the IndiGo part, and we have ordered a strict inquiry into it. The inquiry is going to start, and as we find the details of the inquiry, we are going to take strict action.
So let me go across to Captain Anil Rao first. Captain Anil Rao, has the minister just ended the debate even before it starts? Why are you forming a committee? Why are you, wanting to do a high-level inquiry when you already are saying that it's a miscalculation? Everybody seems to have arrived at conclusion. Everybody convenient with the position taken by IndiGo.
Yeah, I agree to you to an extent. I'd like to tell you that at 1500 hours today, that is 3 p.m. today, we had a meeting with the Minister of Civil Aviation, Shri Naidu ji. And not only with us, along with us were other associations and pilot bodies as well. DGCA himself was available at the meeting. And we were asked to cooperate with the DGCA and ministry and not to, put hindrance in getting the situation normalized. Now, the thing is, what is normalization? The normalization was getting things, the operations normal in IndiGo, and letting the passengers fly and get back to whatever destinations they wanted to be, have to be by now. So our question is very simple. An operator of such an extent, which is one of the biggest airlines probably in the world now, would it be wrong to say that suddenly one day the operator gets up and says that, oops, I don't have pilots to fly, or I don't have crew to fly? And this FDTL has been there for 2 years. It has been implemented in phase-wise as per the operator's need. As such, it was supposed to be implemented in 1st June 2024. But they went and again pressurized, and DGCA again came with a revision 2 and said now the FDTL will be implemented as per the schemes of the operator. That means it's an open-ended...
But Captain Rao, when they tell you that you have to cooperate and not create hindrance, they are actually putting the blame or responsibility on your shoulders. How does that land at your doorstep?
So, because we are the ones who are asking questions that how can you give dispensation, exemptions or variations on a given law. A law is equal to everybody today or tomorrow. You cannot give me an exemption because of their operations or their business needs. It is all business needs. I can understand if there is a calamity, if there is a rule of dispensation under Rule 133 Alpha of Indian Aircraft Rules 1937, there is a rule where there are exemptions given. We have done. India has done evacuations. India has done special flights under special FDTL exemptions, where you have to have a proper way of mitigation.
Absolutely.
A proper research has to be done.
And there was enough time to do a proper research to comply with the rules, which clearly was not done. Let me bring in Deepak Reddy. Deepak Reddy, I want to ask you a very simple question. Who really is the victim here? Is it IndiGo or is it the common man? And before anybody judges me for asking that question, Deepak Reddy, because a slew of measures that all seem to be favoring in terms of exemptions, in terms of relaxations for the airline, because you are saying that you ultimately want to provide relief to the passengers. But all the measures taken is equal to asking the passengers to fly at their own risk.
Yes. Swati ji, when the country faces a crisis like this, we need to look at things in a much more rational manner. So let me first say, what IndiGo has done is absolutely unacceptable. It has betrayed the trust of the people of India, and it has taken advantage of the situation in India. But at the same time, if we see the members of the India ecosystem, the politics they are playing, I think I need to put some facts on record. The first thing is, the Prime Minister's office is monitoring the situation. The Minister Civil Aviation has set up a war room, a control room, and is sitting in that and monitoring the situation.
You are telling me everything that is being done
by
now.
the hour. And
you're telling me everything that is being done now.
A committee has been constituted.
No, Mr. Reddy, you're telling me about everything that is being done now. But let me tell you that DGCA, DGCA says.
I have to inform.
I know what you're saying, and I am doing that job. I'm doing that job. Don't worry. I'm informing viewers about what is being done now, because we want to know from DGCA, the authority, the ministry, what they are doing. So we are keeping our viewers up to date. Don't worry about that. Tell me about why was this situation allowed to unfold in this manner? DGCA here says, which is by the way an order released by the DGCA. Point number 2, DGCA has issued repeated directions and advance instructions from time to time to IndiGo, blah, 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 other pointers present. So if IndiGo was not listening and you were giving repeated reminders to them, issuing advisories, did you not, I mean the DGCA and the authorities associated, fail in doing their job in ensuring IndiGo has to comply just like how other airlines and their staff members did?
Yes, the Minister, Civil Aviation, has clarified that they've been engaging with this airlines for the past 6 months, and for the past 1 month, they've been reviewing it in a very close manner. So now it has come to a point where the airline could not escape any further, and that's where the whole...
It is escaping in front of all our eyes and under our noses. It is escaping. Mr. Reddy, one second. The Minister says the situation will improve from tomorrow. Then he says the congestion will be all over by tonight. When the CEO of the airline says tomorrow as well there'll be cancellations, but don't stress too much because it will be less than 1,000. So the CEO of IndiGo is not confident of resolving the issue, but the Minister says raat se hi, kal se hi, the congestion will be over. On what basis?
The Minister is monitoring the situation very closely, and he's announced that tomorrow it's going to be normalized.
How?
And within 3 days, the situation is going to come into
normal. The CEO of IndiGo is not confident. If you are agreeing, no. If you are agreeing with everything that IndiGo Airlines is saying,
and the target of the government is to first normalize the situation,
Mr. Reddy,
and to take care of the interest of the 5 lakh passengers.
This is the moment. So this is the moment where people want to hear people. One second, Mr. Reddy. This is the moment where people want to hear IndiGo, DGCA, Ministry of Civil Aviation, the Minister himself and the authorities take responsibility and not just parrot lines given by the IndiGo Airlines. Dr. Ranganathan, if we are to believe everything that IndiGo is saying, including that this is a miscalculation, that airline that dominates the domestic market couldn't foresee this challenge, then why are we not believing the CEO of IndiGo who says between 5th to 15th December is when the situation will be back to normal, perhaps?
Good evening, Swati, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, I must compliment you for a brilliant primer, for saying what needed to be said. Thank you for saying that this is a country that can stand up and meet eye to eye with United States, with China, with Pakistan, but blinks at the first instant of an airline that is reneging on the rules that every other airline is following. What more proof do you need that ours is a banana republic? It's not about Deepak ji, who's a good friend and who has to defend the TDP. I want to ask, where is the BJP tonight? 2 people should submit their resignation immediately. I'm surprised they haven't yet. One is that Peter Elbers, who should have resigned 2 days ago, and the other is the Civil Aviation's Minister. Let me give you an analogy. If it turns out that meteorologists tell you that there is going to be a super cyclone that's going to strike the coast of India in a week's time, after the super cyclone has struck, would the politicians would it be acceptable for them to say we are monitoring the situation? Is that how you conduct? You're supposed to keep a tab on the situation 24 hours, 24/7. You're supposed to give regular updates. This was a High Court order that was brought about by an appeal by the Pilots Association to take care of the safety of the passengers. The High Court said it has to be done in phase manner, phase 1, phase 2. And does it pass the smell test? No. I'll tell you the reason. The revenue of IndiGo is 80,000 crores. Its profit is 8,000 crores. Loss-making airlines like Air India, whose losses accumulate to 10,000 crores, like Akasa Air, whose loss accumulates to 2,000 crores, have complied with the order. What does it mean that an airline like IndiGo that is making a profit refuses to do so when all you needed was 65 more pilots? It couldn't do that. This is a complete and clear dereliction of duty, not only by the airlines, or it must be punished heavily, but also the Civil Aviation Ministry. What to talk of DGCA? I don't even want to talk about them. Okay. But the Civil Aviation Minister must resign, because now, by putting this rule in abeyance, he is actually compromising the safety of the passengers.
Absolutely.
For which the High Court order first came about.
Yes, the FDTL rules came in to ensure that safety is paramount. It is the priority, which by the way, in the latest statements as well, the Civil Aviation Minister keeps citing. He says that we are keeping the passenger safety in mind. It's very important, high priority for us. And then the one rule that ensures that has been kept in abeyance. Let me go across to Vayan Sharma. Profit over people, it's that simple.
See, very simply, what we have to see right now is, what are we addressing here? One, is IndiGo at fault for not gearing up and being ready with their operational side to comply with the new FDTL regime, which has to come in? And it's been coming for the last 2 years. It's not that it happened overnight. This order came out 2 years back, and as Mr. Ranganathan was saying, a phased rollout of that on the compliances was there. The other airlines have managed to comply with it. IndiGo has, it seems that they have slipped up on this, and they have not been able to get their act together on this, which is very surprising looking at the record that these guys normally have. Now, when we say that what is the regulator or the minister doing in this? You have a crisis, you've got passengers stranded at various airfields. You've got people who are missing flights, missing funerals, missing weddings, getting back to their homes, all of that. The first thing which needs to be done is first to mitigate the problem which is being faced by the public. The Civil Aviation Ministry, their first stakeholder that they're supposed to look after is the passenger. Get him back to his place first. For that, right now, if you say no, you follow these rules right now, and that is where it is, do you have a solution? You do not have a solution. So what has the regulator done? These rules, now, see, pilot fatigue and mental health of pilot has been discussed, and that is why this new car was made. Absolutely. But it's not that before this, this new FDTL rule comes out, that all safety was thrown to the winds. That's not how it works. So all which has happened is that this relaxation also, which has been given now, is to mitigate the immediate problem.
I understand that, but then if that was the situation, why was DGCA also giving? Why was DGCA also giving repeated directions and advance instructions to IndiGo to comply with it? Also, 1 second, since you spoke about measures to be taken, I want to bring in Abhijit. Abhijit, when such a crisis hits. When such a crisis hits, what do? One, you ensure that, ensure communication to the passengers. Two, you also make sure that other airlines do not take advantage of that situation. Did we see that happening?
No, we did not. But look, price gouging is part of the game. That is fine. My issue is IndiGo, after all its screw-ups, is still being allowed to price gouge. Their website is still operational. They're selling tickets from 2 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. From Delhi to Mumbai is priced at 30,000. Delhi to Madras is priced at 32,000. In economy class, their business class tickets they're selling cheaper right now than their economy class tickets. How is an airline that screwed up so massively even allowed to keep its website online right now for tomorrow?
And sell tickets.
And sell tickets when they're saying it won't be fixed till the 10th. The airline president, the minister is saying it will be fixed by tomorrow. The airline president himself is saying it will be till the 10th or the 15th. So I'm sorry, but this minister, his monitoring is yielding absolutely nothing. Maybe it's time he left and got some new minister in, because let me tell you, you saw his press conference. He was saying we have arranged food and transport and accommodation and all of that. That was at 14:58 this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Madhav was there at the airport 1 hour back interviewing people live. They were still not, forget food, forget accommodation. They weren't even getting information out. They
were allowed to do web check-ins, and then when they go to the airport, still no confirmation. The status says confirm flight.
And even now it's showing on time and things like that.
Tehseen Poonawalla, perhaps, we understand that the minister has to do all these high-level meetings, talk to all the stakeholders, but then if you say the passengers are the most important part of all of this, the most important stakeholder, step out of your office, perhaps go to one of the airports in the national capital, take stock of the situation, find out how the ground staff is responding to the queries.
This is the most incompetent civil aviation minister in the history of this country, and the most incompetent DGCA, and I'll tell you with proof. On 16 June 2025, I tweeted that DGCA needs to be sacked. You know why? We had 5 chopper crashes in Uttarakhand on 16 June. DGCA woke up after that and stopped those from applying. The civil aviation minister did nothing. 6 months ago, we had the terrible Air India crash. Abhijit and I were on shows. And as usual, the pilots always get blamed for anything that goes wrong. So here, there is a mechanism to safeguard our pilots and thereby the lives of our people. Now, let's go by maths, because Abhijit and I are people who believe in maths and science. IndiGo operates 2,300 flights per day in India. If the CEO is saying 1,000 flights will only be cancelled, that means 1,000 flights will be cancelled. That's approximately 2,300. That's approximately 2,34,000 passengers that would be left stranded tomorrow. Look at the numbers. What is being done for that? And yet, at a premium price, IndiGo continues to sell tickets and make profits. And from that profits, it does not hire pilots to keep us safe. I'm flying to Pune tonight. I paid 35,000 for my tickets, economy. I'm flying another airline, but 35 because everybody's raised their price. Forget about this. Now let's look at the other things. This order didn't come out yesterday or day before. It came out 2 years ago. In phase manners, the High Court stepped in, said in phase manners, implement this order. If for 2 years you can't implement this order, and it's common sense, Abhijit, correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't we in winter right now? Every year in winter, you're going to have this problem in any case. What was the civil aviation minister doing? Was he watching cartoons at home that he did not realize that winter's coming in Delhi? Once North India is affected, everything will be affected. 1 month ago, we had the GPS spoofing in Delhi. Abhijit and I were almost stranded. You knew that this will fall out. You knew the fallout will be worse in November, December. You know IndiGo has not applied it. Were you watching Pogo? What were you doing? And you now say that I'm talking to Prime Minister?
Mind you, Swati, for 6 months, if they've been feeding you false information, what have you done? Why haven't you suspended? Why are they even allowed to fly?
Absolutely. That's what I asked in the first place. Why did you wait for this situation to take place? And once again, Dr. Ranganathan, I know you want to come in, but Jitendra Bhargava, former ED Air India, has also joined us on the broadcast now. Is this not arm twisting?
Well, it is in a way arm twisting, because having disregarded the revised norms of FDTL, creating a situation where thousands of flights are cancelled, lakhs of passengers are inconvenienced, made to pay higher fares, as some of your panelists have very rightly said. Now, question is, DGCA was left in Catch-22 situation. They couldn't have allowed the situation to continue. They had to give relaxation to DGCA for a limited period, for limited hours, night hours flying, etc., taking due care of the safety element. As one panelist very rightly said, prior to introduction of this norm, would we say that safety was being compromised? The answer is no. They will take requisite, but in the long run, yes, the changes were needed. Fatigue element had to be taken care of. DGCA has. Now, DGCA has also asked IndiGo to submit a report on an ongoing basis, number one. Number two, expedite the pace of recruitment, induction of people. But having been in the airline for a long time, let me say, one, when the DGCA had turned down the request, maybe IndiGo's think that they will be able to arm twist DGCA into giving a further extension, failed. What should have the airline done? Not allowed this situation to emerge. They should have basically worked on a truncated flight schedule, have scheduled cancellation, intimation to passengers, so the passengers did not come to the airport and face the inconvenience.
absolutely. But Mr. Bhargava, let me ask you, when when other students in the class perform, when other students in the class listen to the teacher, follow all the rules, do not cheat in exams, and there's this one student who does not submit projects on time, does not meet deadlines, and is about to fail, and the teacher says, I cannot allow this student to fail, let me give some grace marks. Questions will be raised on the role of the teacher as well.
Let's put it this way. Other airlines, take Air India for example, has won almost 40% of the market share of IndiGo. The commanding market share of IndiGo has basically been responsible for it. If there were marginal cancellations, other airlines would have been able to absorb it. But 65% market share is huge. And when you have almost 40% of your flight schedule being cancelled, what do you do about it? Total chaos. That is why when Ranganathan said, very rightly said, it's a criminal breach. Action must be taken. Air passengers are often fleeced by the airlines. When you cancel a flight, 90% of the fare is impounded. Now, what should the passengers do? Shouldn't they be compensated?
Okay, compensated. I was coming to that point. Thank you for raising that point. I was coming to that point. Mr. Reddy, till now, we have not heard anything on that. Even IndiGo said refunds. We'll offer refunds. What about compensation?
Swati ji, you haven't, given me time to say what exactly the government is doing or what the minister has done. Yes, I got cut, but the people of India need to know how the government is working for them. We 100% agree that IndiGo has messed up big time and appropriate action would be taken. But what is being done by the government is something what we have to inform the people of India. The Prime Minister's office is monitoring the situation.
Why does he go running to the Prime Minister?
Sir, okay, allow him to finish. Allow him to finish. Or Mr. Reddy will say that we didn't allow him to speak. Finish your point.
Let me. If I can't speak for a single minute and put the facts, then how are the people of India going to know, Swati?
Finish your point.
I'll wrap it up.
Finish your point.
A committee is constituted. An inquiry is being conducted on why this issue has come up.
Can I just
and then
one line?
Just give me 1 minute. I'll just put three facts and then I'll wrap it down. And a lightning speed decision has been taken as a one-time relief to first take care of the problems of the passengers. I mean, if you fall into the India ecosystem trap
it took
and say
4
that
days.
Nothing should be done,
Sir, it took 4 days.
Are going to suffer.
Lightning speed decisions you are saying which takes 4 days.
And
what is this? Our definition of speed is very different.
Stringent action on the airline.
Our definitions of safety and speed is very different. I don't agree with that definition.
What needs to be done?
Very quickly. Then Mr. Ranganathan wants to come in.
Just one line. Sorry, Dr. Ranganathan, just one line. One line sentence on what needs to be done. Just one line. Please send your resignation to the same Prime Minister's office that is monitoring it and apologize to the people of this country.
Dr. Ranganathan.
This is the tragedy, and this is why, I always implore people, great people, good friends like Deepak shouldn't have joined politics, because this is what happens to them. Perfectly reasonable and rational person is now having to defend the indefensible. As far as compensation is concerned, yes, refund the price of the ticket, give compensation equal and above the price of the ticket, and fund the ticket that the passenger had to buy off an airline which is different from IndiGo so that he could complete the trip. This is what the compensation should be. And finally, can I please disagree with anyone who says, look, if we are going back or put the new rules in abeyance, that doesn't mean safety has been compromised. That's neither here nor there. That is actually superfluous, indeed specious. Because the rules were brought in precisely because the safety was being compromised. There was a danger. You can't say that we have a speed limit of 90 kilometers an hour and we brought it down to 70. But that doesn't mean if we revert to 90, we're not compromising on safety. That the new rules are brought in precisely because people are wary that because of the existing rules, you are compromising safety.
Can I add something? Sure.
Yes. Okay, I think Mr. Bhargava also wants to come in.
Let's put it this way.
Okay.
The rules have come in, yes, for the purpose of safety, ensuring high standards of safety. But should the Ministry of Civil Aviation, DGCA, government, IndiGo allow the situation to linger on? Or you want to bring an early end? We know for sure that IndiGo cannot get the requisite number of pilots. In the next few days, it is going to take weeks and months. So what do you do in these circumstances?
I'll tell you.
Relax the condition.
Absolutely. Don't allow them to keep booking flights.
This is for a temporary period, for a short period. If DGCA was to roll back the thing, I would have said yes, DGCA is compromising safety. But when I look in the context of the need to ensure safety at to restore normalcy at the earliest, you cannot do without
Mr. Bhargava, cut the IndiGo flights by 25 to 30%. Cap tickets at 3,500 rupees. That's how you do. If you have 1,000 flights out of 2,300,
is to truncate its flight schedule to match the number of pilots available.
Sir, 1 second.
But you'll have a mayhem of a different kind when fares will shoot up astronomically. Do we want that kind of a situation?
Sir, if you're flying 2,300 flights a day and you're saying 1,000 are getting cancelled, please cap it to 600, 700 flights. So none get cancelled and the pilots can be used and get adequate rest. It's common sense.
What happens in that
Captain Rao also wants to come in.
Capacity becomes less in the market.
People are suffering.
Thank you so much.
That's why I said passengers are not in that priority list by any chance, perhaps at the bottom. Captain Rao wants to come in.
I would like to answer the question. Like to respond to what Mr. Deepak Reddy had said about the lightning speed and special dispensation and certain one-time relief has been obtained from DGCA or MOCA. I would like to tell you that these one-time reliefs have been given 1,000,000 times before also. If you see what we are talking about today is a rule which put in abeyance which we have been trying to implement last 2 years. It's not that the rule just came yesterday and today you don't have crew or you don't have the infrastructure to maintain that. 2007 was the first car FDTL which was 2007 was the first car FDTL which was made and rolled out. If you go back in history and see that rule, which was made after extensive study on fatigue and crew operations, along with the pilot bodies also involved in it, it was put in abeyance as soon as it was rolled out. Now, this has not happened for the first time in India. It has happened earlier also in 2007. Every time there has been an amendment in the FDTL, there were operators who have opposed it and rules have been twisted, tweeted and implemented the way the operator have always asked for. Now, unfortunately, what has happened is the Pilot Association, in fact, this had happened before also, in this case also.
Right.
When DGCA came out with the 2024 FDTL, the operators could not say they could not manage with this FDTL, so they asked for extension. So revision 2 came. It is when the revision 2 came with an open-ended time given to them to implement it, is when Pilot Association went to the court and got relief. And the court is the one which said that you implement in phase-wise manner. Even after phase-wise manner, which is not the way it should be implemented. In the phase-wise manner also, dispensation were given for selectively into selective operators. Now, how can a law be implemented?
Absolutely. That's the most important question,
now,
Mr.
Swati, I would like to tell the question here is, forget about we going back in time, 6-7 years back in 2019 when the rule has not been put in abeyance. We are talking about the dispensation in itself. Now, if you say that you're giving dispensation to a particular operations or a type of operations because you have got inconvenience, what you so called as inconvenience, it is not inconvenience. It is commercial interest because you have increased your operations because you wanted to have commercial gain.
Absolutely.
And for that, it is not that they were not prepared. We cannot say that. It was given, winter operations are given to DGCA and the DGCA gives an approval on it, and after that only the operations are commenced.
Vayan Sharma, and then Abhijit. Vayan Sharma.
Okay, I have just, one common sense question to ask. Let's say that 700 flights, we say, okay, fine, truncated schedule from now on. You obviously need to do a truncated schedule right now till the time they get enough people for the FDTL norms to be complied in toto. And it's not that the FDTL norms have been cancelled or rolled back for perpetuity. It is only right now to mitigate the crisis that we are
What
in
happens if
as of now.
No,
allow him to finish. Allow him to
Right,
finish.
that means you're
Allow
talking
him to
about
finish.
25, 30. Let me finish.
Yeah,
Give me half a minute. Give me half a minute.
Yes, absolutely.
30% of the flights, if they are 30% capacity is removed from the Indian market, you and me will be on a program discussing how the airfares have gone up and passengers don't have enough,
The question is only about safety.
opportunity or, means.
No, one
to get
second.
from place A to place B.
It's over capacity.
One second.
He's right.
Mr. Vayan Sharma, Abhijit wants to come in. He wants to counter you.
You know, this is such a specious argument, Swati.
Yeah.
You are talking about curbing lack of capacity. They are overselling tickets. How does that lead to a shortage?
Exactly.
जो वो बेच रहे हैं टिकट जो टिकट बेचने के लिए ही नहीं है and cheating
You are
people.
Understand?
Had this been a sorry,
ticket because there is not enough capacity.
Had there been it is not. Please do not say that. That is not. 25%. Listen, 1 second. They wrote to the minister saying this will add 25% cost to us. Okay. Now Akasha absorbed the cost.
Yes.
And they passed it on to the passengers. Air India absorbed the cost. They passed it on to the passengers. This airline was so greedy, they wanted to pass it on to the passengers but not bear the cost. And now that is where we have come to today. Now by giving them leeway, you have basically validated the fact that they've gotten away with price gouging. And understand, they need to be put into the red for the next 6 months if they are
Unless you take punitive action, you will have to come for their rescue every single time and you cannot hide behind the excuse one-time exemption only. Tessin.
Yeah, two things quickly. Abhijit is right. You've sold over capacity. Even right now, the CEO came on Times Now and said 1,000 flights will be cancelled tomorrow. So please cap it. Those people, those 180,000 people at 180 a flight are going to suffer.
Absolutely.
Number two, the prices have already gone up. I'm paying to 30,000 today to travel. They've anyways gone up. So that argument doesn't make sense. But the third and most important point, IndiGo was profiting and because of your bottom line, you are now compromising safety and saying, hey, so what you're Bhagwan Bharose, Allah Bharose.
Absolutely. Instead of just parroting the lines given to you or the excuses that IndiGo is making, you have to first acknowledge that you messed up, you made a mistake and that you did not do your job properly. It was your responsibility to keep the airline in check first of all, ensure the situation never comes up, this mess is never created so that people, thousands of those who suffered, do not have to go through this harrowing experience. So it's not just the airline. It's the ministry, it's the DGCA, other authorities related to the aviation sector, and they are all responsible. I want to quickly also accommodate views coming in from our audience, our viewers. Jamshed says, cannot sanction but must be heavily fined for the mess they created. Vyas Kavindra says, the airline should be penalized. Archisman Das Gupta says, step down, aviation minister. Let's also take a look at the poll results. So this is the question that we asked. Passengers tortured, government extorted. Should IndiGo face sanction? 89% people have voted yes, 8% say no, 3% have not been able to make up their minds. With that, I'm thanking our guests for debate number 1. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Tehseen Poonawalla will continue to be with us for debate number 2 as well.